Hello, welcome to Newzim TV on the program News in Review, where we are basically looking at the most topical, or shall I say the hottest issues of the week. And this is the first installment that we are having as we set sail as Newzim TV. Just going to give you some quite very interesting debates based on cutting edge, shall I say, cutting edge journalism and stuff like that. My name is Nkosana Dlamini, and I've got with me fellow colleagues here at Newzim TV, starting with Richard Chiza, who is deputy editor here at newzimbabwe.com. Richard, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, and welcome to our viewers.
We also do have Leo Munende, who is a journalist here at Newzim TV. Welcome to the show, Leo.
Thank you so much.
Well, gentlemen, I must say that it's been quite a very hectic week if it does come to the news. I mean, what's been happening on the news? I can straight away cite the issue to do with sanctions that were renewed by the United States, issues around the MDC Congress that is coming, issues around treason charges that we see being preferred against some opposition MPs. Issues also to do with you know, the Warriors as well. You are aware that they are playing a qualifier at the end of this month. I think it's going to be on the 24th. So these are some of the issues, gentlemen, that we want to discuss in the very short period on the show. Starting with you, Chiza, sanctions have been renewed by America. Just want to hear from you. What's your take on the continued renewal of sanctions? Do you even think they are necessary in the first place?
They are a very unnecessary impediment to probably talk of re-engagement, particularly coming from the Zimbabwean side. And I think I would want to agree with those that are saying, I think the Americans have lost this one. It's unnecessary. It creates unnecessary tensions. And I think if you have an errant child and they come home, they tell you they want to change, you probably need to give them a bit of time or cut them some slack.
In this case, you mean that the Zimbabwean government wants to change?
They have said they want to. Whether they will do that is another thing, but we have not seen, in terms of practical actions or practical steps, Zimbabwe has not really done much in the past 1.5 years or something like that, or since President Mnangagwa.
Well, what would your take? What would your take? We see the crackdown that is continuing. We see some legislators being arrested and charged for subversion, as it were. We see quite a lot of issues happening on the show, and we haven't seen the President Mnangagwa also come through, I mean, with very tangible, shall I say, reforms. But that can be arguable.
But you wouldn't expect Mnangagwa to wake up in the morning and say, stop every arrest of everyone. It would be a usurpation of the power of the other arms of the state. You can't do that, and you don't expect him to do that. If you were to do that, then there would be cries around, he doesn't respect the
But there are obviously certain things that he can do. Come on.
There are certain things that he can do, and there are certain things that he can do, and there are certain things that he can say. So I think we need to appreciate where we are coming from in order to understand where we are going and where we are now. We need to understand where are we. We are coming from a deep war, a dark war. Mugabe's administration was a dark war for Zimbabwe.
Mugabe's administration was a dark hole for Zimbabwe. Leo, you want to come in there with the issue of sanctions?
Yes, I know my point of view might get me on the left side of Zimbabweans, but I think sanctions are very necessary to maintain.
Did you say that, Leo?
Yes, to maintain a watchdog on our government, especially on its excesses. You look
at it's been happening for the past 15 years.
That is the reason why the sanctions were put in place originally, because there was lack of respect for human rights by Robert Mugabe, and we are seeing exactly the same thing under Emmerson Mnangagwa. I can safely say to push the international agenda, the human rights agenda, it is working. Of course, it at the end of the day, it is affecting the ordinary person in the street. But
therefore, they must go.
No. if they go, there is no guarantee that this government will respect human rights.
And there is no guarantee that if the sanctions continue, they will respect. Look at 2008. Go back to 2002. The sanctions, the data was enacted in 2001. But go back to 2002. Tsvangirai was charged with treason. In the 2002 presidential election, we don't want to talk. We don't even want to go there. Look at 2008. I talked about it. 2008, the runoff or the election before the runoff maybe was much better, but the runoff. Go to 2013, and now you go back to November 2017, 2017, you come to July, August 1 last year, you come to January. These epochs in our history, in the past 17, 19, in the past 19 years, show that these sanctions have not worked.
I think when we are talking of sanctions, if we start talking of whether or not they should go, we will be a bit deviating from the actual issue. The actual issue is that those sanctions were put in place because we were not respecting human rights. So what should we do so that these sanctions are removed? We should respect human rights. We should get our priorities straight, simple and straightforward.
And you think Guantanamo Bay is respecting human rights?
If we can afford to put sanctions on America, if I may use the word, then let us do that.
People playing Big Brother. People playing Big Brother in international politics.
No, very sorry, gentlemen. I'm sure we're going to end this conversation, but of course, you can actually see that it's quite a very hot issue, and I'm sure there are other platforms that we're going to use here at Newzim TV just to exhaust some of these issues. And if you're just joining us, we are on Newzim TV, and my name is Gosana Dlamini. I've got Richard Chiza, who is deputy editor at newzimbabwe.com. Actually, it's actually a big organization that just Newzim TV. Also do have Leo Mnende, who is also one of our colleagues here at newzimbabwe.com. We move on as we look at the issues that have been dominating the news on the local scene right now. Let's talk about the MDC Congress, gentlemen. There's a lot of jostling, shall I say, with regards to issues to do with posts within MDC. You are aware that Chamisa is gunning, of course, to become elected, shall I say. And of course, there's the Monzora component coming in, there's the BT component coming in. Let's start with the Chamisa one. Monzora is going to challenge Chamisa. Your take on the Congress, your general take, Chiza, on Congress?
The MDC needs to show the people of Zimbabwe that it is democratic, it respects rules and institutions. The MDC needs to show the people of Zimbabwe that it respects its own constitution before they are given state power. They must show...
Do you get a feeling they are not doing that?
I get the sense that there is a tendency of trying to override or to usurp the party's constitution to save...
You can be more specific than that, Lechiza?
I think issues around who is going to be elected at the Congress and issues around who can challenge who. We have had very negative comments coming from the structures of the party and senior leaders in the party. And also there is the issue of who can contest at this Congress. Can Tendai Biti contest at this Congress? Can Watchman Mube contest at this? What does the MDC constitution say? Is the National Council has the National Council enough power to sit as a Congress? Can it rubber stamp decision that should go to Congress? Things like that come to mind, and you want to ask yourself and say, are these people following their own rules and regulations that govern their society, which is the MDC? If they can't respect the rules and regulations that govern their group, why should we expect them to respect the rules and regulations that
quickly on this pending one, Chiza, there's a feeling within MDC that, look, rules are rules, but politics is politics at the end of the day. Let's just have Chamisa being our leader because he's a stronger and more charismatic candidate. If we're going to put too much of rules, then we run the risk of losing our best foot forward.
Then let's dispose of the Constitution.
Thank you very much.
Then let's dispose of the Constitution.
Yeah.
If they believe that Chamisa is their right foot forward and they are confident that he will win, then let whoever wants to contest him and lose democratically. But they are failing. There's something wrong with the MDC.
There are two issues here, gentlemen. There's the issue of a popular candidate, and there's the issue of allowing the constitution. Because sometimes these things do not.
The popularity of leading the MDC will come from the structure,
from the Congress,
not from you and me in the streets, but from the Congress. So the Congress, unfortunately, you and me will not be at the Congress. So we might have our preferences, but we will not be there. So, like he said,
but I'll be there standing at Congress.
Oh, okay.
I'll be standing.
Are you challenging Chamisa?
No, I'm not challenging. I mean, I'll be there doing my work and standing at the MDC.
So they should allow the processes to go through. These negative utterances that we hear are alarming and probably dangerous to our democracy.
Plus, there's a lot of secrecy, as you said earlier on. I understand that the National Executive Council can sit as Congress.
National Council or National Executive?
National Council can sit as Congress. That is what I understand. But now that you have come up with a point that there is no assurance that it did sit as Congress or that it can sit as Congress, we need a bit of clarity there, whether it is coming from Jacob Mafume, the party spokesperson, or Nelson Chamisa himself as president. We need clarity as to exactly what is happening before Congress. Will these people be able to run, or will they be shut out?
If you want to see how much confusion is there, ask each one of them, whoever you want in the MDC's top leadership, which constitution they are using.
Exactly.
They probably have 5 versions of their own constitution.
Maybe quickly, Chiza, there's the issue of saying that Chamisa is popular.
Yes.
So, I mean, automatically it's going to sail to victory.
Then if it's
and there's another component that comes in and says Monzora is not popular, but he controls the structures. What's your take there? Can you just give us...
How does he control the structures without being popular? The structures will allow him to control them because he's popular among the structures. And it actually gives credence to talk in town that there are two contesting issues here. One is popular in the streets among the general populace, and the other is popular within the structure. That's what I've heard. And I don't know which one.
And whether or not Monzora is captured the structures, is popular in the structures, and Chamisa is popular, the constitution says he can be challenged. Let him be challenged. If he loses, he has lost. He has to accept that I've lost. Simple and straightforward.
And he said he will accept. And Chamisa, for his part, and you have to give it to him, he said he will allow himself to be challenged.
What is youth saying?
Gentlemen, I'm sure we should conclude that particular matter. Of course, we are on News TV. My name is Nkosana Dlamini. We're on News in Review, basically looking at the most topical issues of the week, and quite a very hectic week, I must say. And these are some of the programs that, of course, we're going to be giving you as we continue giving you some cutting-edge journalism here at newzimbabwe.com. I also do have Leo Munenda, who is a fellow journalist here at newzimbabwe.com, and Richard Chiza, who is the deputy editor. We're going to take a short break, and please do stay with us.
Many people have been asking me how did I manage it, because they could see that everything was there, everything was just happening, things were being paid. So I've told people that it was through Diaspora Funeral Cash Plan. So I would advise everyone to join this Diaspora Funeral Cash Plan. Their policy is good because it took all the weight off my shoulders.
Welcome back to News TV on the program News in Review, where we are basically looking at the most topical issues of the week. My name is Nkosana Dlamini, your host for the program. I also do have Richard Chiza, who is deputy editor here at newzim.com, as well as Leo Munenda, who is one of our colleagues here at newzimbabwe.com. We're basically looking at the most topical issues of the week. And gentlemen, let's go to issues to do with the diplomatic offensive that we did see of Nelson Chamisa. It was quite very secret, and up to now, even journalists like us don't really know where he was and stuff like that. Diplomatic offensive. What was that all about, Chiza?
It's a very queer arrangement. And was it a diplomatic offensive? Did he go anywhere? He actually might have been in town. There's a high possibility that he might have been in town. There's also a very high possibility that he was up and about in Africa and meeting, like they say internally, that's what they're saying within the MDC. They're saying he was. We've had places like Gabon mentioned, your Ghana, your Ethiopia, where probably you were seeking out.
That's where he went. Yeah. How strategic is that? You're going to Gabon. You're leaving SADC, by the way. SADC is quite very key to the direction in which our political situation is going.
The argument has been that Zimbabwe, particularly the ZANU-PF government, attracts leniency from African leaders of a nationalistic standing, as it were, or stature. And the MDC, over the 20 years of its existence, has generally ignored these. It has generally ignored sitting governments and actually gravitated towards opposition in every other country that has a relation. You go to Kenya, they kind of relate to Odinga. You go to South Africa, they relate to the DA. Malema has been a no-no. He is kind of stayed away from them. You go to Zambia, they relate to Chilema. Yeah. So you see, the argument has been that it is a shift in policy, and they are now targeting sitting leaders in Africa, and that's what Chamisa probably was doing in going there, and also probably targeting the African Union. The African Union, maybe chairperson in Addis Ababa.
Leo, would you think President, let's say President Kenyatta, and the president of Gabon can meet an opposition leader from Zimbabwe secretly and it ends just like that?
I don't think so. I think this was one of those personal visits, like the one he did just before.
It was a joyride.
Not exactly. I wouldn't put it that way. For fear of being denied entry into harvest. Okay, but I think this was a personal visit, like the one he embarked on just before elections, where when he went to, which was this Middle East country where he just went for Israel, yeah, just to pray and stuff like that. We will know, of course, with time. But I think at the present moment, we can only speculate.
But if you talk of prayers in Ghana or Gabon,
is there anything wrong with him visiting?
He's trying to suggest that people in Ghana do not pray.
No, I'm not saying they don't pray. But West Africa is synonymous with voodoo stuff.
But it also has prophets. We know of Pastor Chris from Nigeria and some of these.
But most of these fake prophets have been associated with visits to Ghana and
maybe visited the true one.
I'm sure we can move on. I'm sure our time is not really very kind with us. Of course, we are on News TV or the program News in Review. We're basically looking at the most topical issues of the week. My name is Gosana Dlamini. I still do have Richard Chiza as well as Leopold Munende, our fellow journalist here at newszimbabwe.com. Gentlemen, let's end with issue with a lighter subject here, which pertains to the Warriors. The Warriors are going to play their final match, and this is going to be the decisive match on whether we go to Egypt for the AFCON 29 competition and stuff like that. Leo have been following this whole thing unfolding. Can you just give us your opinion with regards to the team, with regards to preparation and stuff like that as we end the show? And these are your final remarks, by the way.
Okay, I think we are on a good footing getting to this match, although some of our key players have not been playing as much as we would like, or the coach would like. We talk of Knowledge Musona, who was just loaned out to a lower division side from his Belgian side. And then we talk of Marvelous Nakamba. Marvelous Nakamba had some squabbles with his coach, and he has not been playing at the present moment. And strikers like Tino Kadewere have not been scoring as much as we would want them to be, getting into the final match of the AFCON qualifiers. But I think this match is motivation enough. I was not there around 1992. I think I was I will not say, but I was very, very young.
You were in what diapers?
So, I'm being told that there was a lot of hearts which were broken on that day. I do not see that happening. Zifa has been trying to change from the Philip Chiangwa administration, army military type of administration, to a more engaging and modern type of administration. We've seen Umbro getting in. They will now be sponsoring our Warriors. They've promised replica jerseys, although we are a bit skeptical because we have had sponsors who have failed to give us replica jerseys, but they are promising. They are promising.
Remember, we just need 1 point from that particular match, and Leo is basically saying that our team comprises of players who haven't been making it into the first team in the past couple of weeks, past couple of months, and I can straight away remind him of my Manchester United that crashed, shall I say, PSG when they were playing. When they were using a very depleted side, so it can happen. Your fears are not relevant.
I'm confident,
Leo. Chiza, as we end the show, what can you say about our beloved Warriors?
I don't want to think about 1991, but I can't help it.
Okay, can you just remind people like Leo what happened in 1991?
Zimbabwe needed a point to qualify for. Where were they going? Was it Senegal? What was?
Yeah, it was one of those.
But it was the Africa Cup of Nations '92, the '92 version, and Zimbabwe needed a point in '91. I think in '91 the qualifiers were ended in '90, would end a year before the finals. So Zimbabwe needed a point, and ironically against Congo Brazzaville, Zimbabwe led 2-1 until the very final moments
when Jones
Banda fluffed his lines and Congo equalized 2-2, and we. In fact, Zimbabwe needed to win then. Then Zimbabwe needed to win, and we drew. Again, you go to I think the 94 finals or 96 finals against Kalusha Bwala's Zambia, and Zimbabwe needed a point, I think. Again, Bruce Gorobela was beaten by a flashing header by Kalusha in the National Sports Stadium, and hearts were broken. I don't want to think about that. I don't want to go there. I think for a society like ours that is so consumed with negative energy and negative news, we need this. We need to qualify for AFCON.
This is a blessed generation, don't worry.
We really need this one, and God forbid.
God forbid. We really need this one, and I can straight away remember that the game that we are citing, Chiza, about us playing Zambia, it was actually a game that I remember, and very sad memories, because that's when the Zambian national team that played in that particular match crashed in Gabon.
Exactly. It was towards the 94 final.
It was towards
and Ghana went on to the final, if I'm not mistaken. They lost to Nigeria in the Zambia. The same Zambian team that beat Zimbabwe went on to go all the way to the final.
Well, gentlemen, I must thank you so much for coming to the show, and I must also remind the viewers that this is the first installment of what's going to be a lot of programs, regular programs that we're going to have here on newzimbabwe.com, as we continue giving you cutting-edge journalism on the news channel that you can trust. Well, I can only thank everybody that's been part of this show. I think Tatenda Dembeza as well has been doing all the donkey work behind the scenes. My name is Nkosana Dlamini. Ciao, ciao.